Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce Cymatics video session 58. So in today's video, we will actually go ahead and continue a few more expression related to compute expression. Okay. So let me go back to data manager and let me go to manage data flow. So under the data flow, if I open this pre-session 6, okay. Now, today we will actually try to understand one expression of how to calculate a different time zone. For example, this particular org, of course, it's already set to my IST, okay, Indian Standard Time. But let's take a very standard reference which we have, which is the GMT time zone, okay. And let's say this particular org is being used by many people. Fine, somebody could be residing in some other time zones, okay, and they're using the same org because this org contains the 𝑘 genetics license. Fine. So in that scenario, how somebody can actually check the data set, okay, especially the date part on with reference to the particular time zone. Fine. So in that case, we will do one thing. Okay. So just for simplicity, let's assume that my time zone is in GMT. Fine. Which is the Greenwich Mean Time, which is the standard time zone. That's why I'm taking GMT. I also could have taken IST. That's not an issue. Okay. So let's say if somebody is living in PST time zone. Fine. So what I will do is over here in Google, first of all, let me search with GMT to PST. Okay. Let's open this link GMT to PST converter. Okay, and as you can see here, when it is 10 a.m. in GMT, right? It is 3 a.m. in PST, okay? Pacific Daylight Time or PDT or PST, whatever you call it. So, which is clearly seen over here. So 3 a.m., 10 a.m., 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7 hours. So GMT is 7 hours ahead of PST, or I can say PST is 7 hours behind GMT, right? Is the date is same, but PST is 7 hours behind GMT. Now, in those kind of scenario, how we will do the calculation? So how we will create a derived field where through that derived field, especially if it's a date field, how that date field reflects the time zone based upon where the user is, and you can do it for any particular time zone. That's not an issue. But just for an example, I will wanted to show you one um, field how to do the calculation. Just want to show you that. So let's write it as something like created date, okay, in PST time zone, okay. So over here, what I'm going to do is I will just write to date, okay, and I will just take the created date. Fine. And what I'm going to do is I will subtract. So here we have already understood that PST is 7 hours behind GMT, right? That's understandable. Now, the thing is that we also know that 1 hour is equal to 36006 seconds. Okay. That means what I can do is now if I go over here, I can just simply write 3600 into 8. Fine. Sorry, 3600 into 8, which means some that created in PST time zone, whatever created data I have, which can, I'm assuming that my created data is in GMT. From that, it will actually show me in the related time zone. Okay. Now let me click on save. Fine. Propagate. Let me click on update and let me run the data flow very quickly. Okay, sorry, I am quite sure it will throw an error. Okay, so let me cancel this, or that's fine. It will throw an error, and I will tell you what. Actually, this part it has to be in date, huh? So I am giving this date. I have put it as text. So let me put it in date, and let me give the format. So the created date format, you all know it's YYYY. Okay, dash MM dash DD capital T, and we have this capital H. Okay, is to MM is to SS dot 000Z. That is the date format which we have, the complete date and time format. Okay, so YYYY dash MM dash DD capital T, HH is to MM is to SS dot 000Z. Okay, and let me click on save. So I will just show you that error which has came up. Okay, so just let's read the error just for understanding purpose. It's saying that the date doesn't match the specified type, which I showed you. It was text earlier. So now I have changed it properly. Now let me update and run it, and it will run successfully. Okay, not an issue. In the meanwhile, I have a few other expressions to cover as well. So let me just open one of the opportunity records. I wanted to explain you one thing. If this ran successfully, now let's open this particular lens derived field. Okay. Now over here, I have already created over here. So let me bring that PST and let me click on apply. Now, if you check over here, this is my 18. So I told you, let's assume mine is a GMT time zone. So this 17, right? Now, if you see here, it's actually reflecting 7 hours behind. Okay. So 17 is here and it is reflecting as 09 over here. Similarly, if you see, I mean, mostly it's 17 over here for me because most of the things have been created on the same day when I opened the doc, right? So now if you see, this is 0652 and here it is showing 2252. Okay. So here it is showing, and see, of course, you know the common sense. I mean, if you apply common sense, you know why it's 06, like 06 is the very morning time. Okay, because it's 7 hours behind. So it will change a day back. It will be 49 in PST, right? So that's how it's being done. So it's 7 hours behind and we just manually calculated it. And you can do it for any other time zone if you want to create a specific derived field where, you know, if that particular time, aux time zone is not matching, let's say the person is listening in PST, but the aux timing is in GST, I'm sorry, GMT, then how can that person see that particular date field in that own time zone? Then this is one of the way we can do it. Currently, I don't think so this is much of an use because currently we have that facility where each user can select the respective time zone. But yeah, in case there's a specific credentials by which you are logging in, then this is one of the ways in which it can be helpful. Okay, that's one of the things I want to explain. Similarly, you can just do it for any other time zone. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's it about this. Now let's move back to the next topic, the next calculation or next compute expression derived field which I wanted to show you. So suppose I want to calculate. Okay, before that, let me open my data export table. Okay, I have this where I'm ordering by close date. Okay, I need that close date. So I wanted to explain you one field before I move ahead. There's a field called is closed. Okay. Now try to understand what is the meaning of is closed, which we have in our standard opportunity object. Whenever you have any stage which is in open stage, right? Then this particular field is closed will map it as false. Fine. Is closed means that the uh, that particular recorded opportunity got closed. Okay. For example, if you see over here, all these stages are in open opportunities. That's why the is closed is showing us. But whenever it is closed one, for example, you can see over here, right? We have one with closed one with closed loss, and for both it is showing as true. So whenever your opportunity is in closed one or closed loss stage, that is closed field which we have, it basically maps as true. And if you have it in open stage, that is closed will be false. Now my condition is I wanted to check which are the opportunities which has their close date due. Now, what I mean by close date due, for example, if you see here, what is the meaning of close date due? I mean, any opportunity where it didn't get closed before today, right? That means the close date is due. And if it is an open state, say if it is closed date, that doesn't matter to me because it already got closed. No action needs to be taken upon it. But if my opportunity is in open stage and let's say the close date is already due, I mean, the close date was already earlier and still it is an open state, then definitely action needs to be taken upon it, right? So we will calculate a new field called is is close date due. Okay. Now, what will be the condition for this? The first condition is it has to be is close has to be false because it has to be open stage, right? So my first condition, okay, let me properly write over here. My first condition is it has to be an open stage. Okay. And then what will be the next condition? How it will be due? It will be only due if it is less than now, right? If my close date, isn't it? If my close date is less than now, that is today. Okay. If it is less than today, it is definitely the close date is due, isn't it? That's the meaning on it. For example, if I open one of the records, which is this one, okay, if you see here, this is an open stage, which is fine negotiation and review. And if you see properly over here, the close date is 31st 10, right? That's what it's mentioned over here. Okay, this is not a proper example because this is a future date 31st 10. Let me take one of them. For example, let me take this one. Okay, let me open this one. This will be a better example. Okay. Yeah. For example, here if you see it is in open stage, needs analysis means it's in open stage. And if you see the close date, right, the close date is showing as 16th 9 2024. But today it's already 24th October, isn't it? That means almost 1 month has passed, but we haven't moved it to a close stage, isn't it? That means the close date is due over here. I hope you understood. The first condition is it has to be in open stage, which I already explained you. The next condition, if is the close date is less than now, and it is less than now, as you can see, that means this particular opportunity record isn't due and some action needs to be taken. The managers needs to get some proper explanation that why no action has been taken it for this opportunity to move it in the next stages or to move it in a close stage when it actually overlapped the close stage. Okay, it crossed the close stage, I mean, sorry, close stage, close date. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do is I will come to this again and I will just create a new field called is close date due. Fine. And let me put a question mark over here. That's fine. So as I told you, the first condition is when is closed, right? Is closed is equal to, the first condition has to be false. If it is in closed stage, then definitely that doesn't make sense to me, right? Why will anybody take action upon that? If it is open stage, which I have written closed stage equal to false, you can also write instead of this, stage name equal to closed, if not in closed one closed. That's also one of the way you can write. Okay, I've taken is closed as of now, and my to date. Okay, my to date, and here this close date underscore sec underscore epoch. Okay, if it is less, sorry, if it is less than now, fine, then I am going to say, okay, close date. Okay, and if it is less than now, then it will be, yes. Okay, that means it is in, if the close date is used, else it will be a no. Okay, it will be a no, and let me put a end over here. Okay, now just wanted to tell you one of the common mistakes we all make is, for example, this particular expression, right? For example, when you're writing this kind of expression, be very careful. Just give a proper space so this expression is not written properly. This is the closing brace. Okay, always take the help of notable person. After that, just give a space over here. Okay, so it is less than now, and now we can do the comparison properly. So this is the proper one. Always take the help of notable plus to know if you are missing any braces or not. Okay, so this is the way to write that expression, and let me just copy over here. Fine, let me click on save, propagate, let me update, and let me run the data flow. Okay, so let's very quickly monitor this. And in the meanwhile, let me also save this lens. Okay. Okay, it's showing as failed. Okay. Let's see what is the issue. Is closed. Okay. So the mistake which I did is I didn't enable this field is closed. Okay. So let me enable this field is closed. I didn't enable this. That's why it's not able to recognize that particular field. Let me update. And now let me run the data flow. Okay. So let's monitor this very quickly. Okay, fine. So this ran successfully. And now if I just open this particular lens, okay, and if I bring that field, that is this is closed date due, and if I just click on apply, right, and let's say where is my stage name? Okay, let me bring it. Let me bring the stage over here. That's the first thing, right? And also I need to bring the close date. Okay, and let me bring the stage over here at the bottom as well. Okay, that's fine. And now if you see over here, okay, so let me just put a filter of yes. Okay, is closed date due. Let me put it as yes. And as you can see clearly, if it is not matching, okay, and if you see if it is not matching, then it is showing me as yes. Okay, and let me bring the stage also a little bit down. For some reason, I'm not able to move it. Okay, that's fine. And now if you see, this stage are all in open stage. Okay, and it's still showing so because it is less than now. Fine. So that's it. Thank you, everyone.